I've got about 10,000 words of notes at this point, and I'm offering to share those with you. So after this Facebook Live, I'll put a link there in case you didn't get the link before, where you can actually request my notes. What I'm doing is I'm putting them all in a blog format like I always do, but I'm going to put this one in a PDF so that it's downloadable for you, a little bit more note friendly, if you will. I meant to do that with my Live Unreal convention notes, but I never had time to do the PDF before I went to Alaska, so I just put it right in a blog and sent everybody the link. So I'm going to put these in a PDF for you. Hey Murray, that's my friend that taught me how to ride a scooter here last night in Austin. Super fun. All right. So for you that are not Keller Williams agents, stay with me for a couple minutes or skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to first cover some tech, our software, and then I'm going to go into some general real estate takeaways. So it's lunchtime. Everybody else is at lunch. I already had breakfast, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to come talk to you guys and say hey as your Las Vegas referral partner. Okay, so let me first say that I don't believe there was any big new news today as far as any big reveals like with Command, which I'm actually kind of glad, because what I saw more than anything today was the increased functionality of what the system actually is doing for us. I got a lot more understanding about why every single agent at Keller Williams now needs to start getting on to Command and getting their use in it. And I'm going to share from a marketing standpoint and as a mega agent myself, what kind of things I'm excited about and seeing in there. I do want to let you guys know that I actually am going to be bringing all kinds of training on this. Paid classes, webinars, live classes. I talked to some team leaders last night. They're going to bring me out to their market centers. So I'm excited to teach 101 versions and advanced, like team processes and marketing processes. Okay, so I'm going to share from that angle if that makes sense. So not just what I heard, but what it means a little bit. Okay, so I like this quote here. So Josh Team said, the end game for KW Command is to allow the real estate agent to have curated, personalized experiences, or to let the customer have curated personal experiences, all in one ecosystem, one environment. And what Josh Team said is, we want you to out Zillow. Okay? Now, this all sounded like fluffy talk to me before. And what I mean by that is, whenever people are talking about something that's coming, there's a lot of fancy words and a lot of hoorah and cheering, and it's exciting, but it's not meat and potatoes, and I'm a meat and potatoes girl. So I wasn't excited until I saw a reason to get excited. I needed to touch it and really mold and shape and start playing with it to understand what this is actually going to do for us. So as a marketer, I'm super excited. So Josh talked a little bit about the KW app, and one of the things that I like is that they're directly working with Google and to help create the AI. And basically what he said is, hey, we're sending this to Google, and if Google says it's crap, we're going back to the drawing board. We're going to keep getting it right until we have the right AI. So I like that. The app's really cool. I'm not going to read you all the bullet points. You can download my notes and get those. But some of the things that I really like about this is the idea is this. From the time we generate a lead, actually, we can even generate our leads in Command, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But from the time we're going to generate that lead, we have all of this ability now to cultivate the lead from the time they come in to close with multiple points. The app, of course, is going to work directly with this. So we're going to be encouraging our consumers to be using our apps, to be using our personalized websites that are on there, our landing pages. And what happens as we go, and this is where the marketer in me gets super excited, the machine is going to learn what that customer does during that journey. And as it learns, it's going to start suggesting to us, hey, you need to call Ruth because Ruth is now at the level of getting ready to buy a house. And it's learning all of this because it's sharing all of our data. I didn't even catch how many Keller Williams agents there are anymore. I don't know, 150, 200,000 of us. There are a couple 100,000. When all of us are using the system, I know a lot of us are scared of the word data, niche, however you guys want to say it. But we need to all be using it because when we do, it's going to learn faster and it's going to start giving us insights that much faster. So, I'm a web developer, marketer myself. I founded a digital marketing company called Ballen Brands a few years ago. We build websites and do pay-per-click marketing and all of that. My brothers are now own it and are running it. The difference that I see in what Command's doing is the machine learning, the artificial intelligence component of it. Everybody has always talked to me at my marketing company about how much they love Boomtown for the lead statuses, the back-end dashboard, how hot things are. And they don't want to part with Boomtown because they wanted this lead scoring system. Well, Command's going to blow that out of the water because the more it learns the process, the more likely it is to be able to say, hey, Mary, pick up your phone. Somebody's, this person's about ready to buy or sell based on all those things. But when the lead comes in, this whole entire journey we're going to be able to do right in Command. One of the things that I really liked is that on the app, the consumer is now able to search by neighborhood. And Josh was really drilling down that the closer we get to the actual home, the more relevant the information is going to get to that consumer. So they can now draw a circle, drop a pin, and all of the information is going to start being sent to them around that particular home. So while zip codes are super relevant to search engines, to people that are moving, search by zip code, local residents are going to be really focused on their street or their neighborhood. And I'm going to get more into that. I'm hearing hyperlocal, hyperlocal, hyperlocal. And any of you guys have been following me for years, what is my mantra? Hyperlocal, hyperlocal, hyperlocal. So this is right in line with what I already teach and do. So I'm very excited about those kinds of things. So we talked a lot about that today. The consumer right from their app is going to be able to search by neighborhoods. The school district information is going to be downloaded. Even the teacher to student ratio of the schools. Super hyperlocal, lots of great neighborhood information. This is going to get that consumer engaging with our apps and our websites instead of going to Zillow because of the value that they're going to be provided, how custom it is to their search. Now, from the app, the consumer is going to be able to actually schedule a home tour. They can actually schedule tours. They can click the little heart and create collections. You can create little hearts and create collections, and you can share those collections back and forth with that consumer. So the drip email of home listings kind of goes away. And it's more about getting that consumer back on the app, back on your website, engaging with all the homes that they're seeing and not going anywhere else. Okay, so this is kind of like when they were talking about the app, and then the consumers can have the ability to actually make their offer. Now, they didn't go into details as to what that looks like, and I have not been part of the 2-year labs as they were building it. I'm going to get more involved now. I was just kind of waiting to see where everything was going before I got super involved, and now I'm excited about it, so I want to get super involved. So they're going to be able to make an offer from there, and then once they're in that process, we have buyer guides, seller guides, investor guides, luxury guides. You can literally drag and drop where that consumer is in the process. So you could say right now they're a lead, right? And now they're whatever, an active buyer, whatever you want your opportunities and pipeline stages to look like. And then you can move them to now they're in escrow if you're in escrow state, or now they're whatever, they've made an offer. And each one of these little times you drag and drop, the coordinating advice from your guide gets sent to your consumer. So some of you guys might remember that I built a super advanced campaign for my buyers and sellers that when I added a tag that said in escrow, they would get an email from me saying, hey, congratulations, you're in escrow. Here's what happens next. Well, this is what we're going to be able to do with drag and drop. Murray says, cool thing about the home touring schedule is that it will work with your KW calendar and block out times that you have already scheduled for something else. I didn't even catch that. That's awesome. Yeah, so super integrated. We're talking seamless, all of these pieces integrated together when it comes to the process. And I now understand that the idea of this is not just to create a one-stop shop. The idea is, how do we personalize the experience? And the only way we're going to beat out these iBuyers and the portals and the Zillows and Amazon Realty, and the only way we're going to be able to compete with those is if we provide value in a way that they can't, right? And so I get it now. The focus really clearly is on how do we continue getting that engagement again and again and again and again and again by offering unique value, unique value, unique value. And at its finest, a couple of the things that stood out to me are hyper-local is super valuable. People want to know about where they live or where they want to live. And the consumer experience of making sure we're communicating what's happening and what's next. And that's that pipeline. That's that drag and drop those guides in there. So I heard that today. That was the first time I heard that. I was really super impressed. So that's from the app standpoint. And you're going to be able to see everything the consumer's doing on the app as well as the agent. And so that's going to be important so that you're paying super close attention to what the consumer's doing. Okay, smart plans. So smart plans are designed to replace the tasks you would typically assign to an assistant or a virtual assistant. So the goal is to automate everything. That's what these smart plans. I was confusing smart plans with campaigns, like email campaigns, and smart plans are more of your activities and actions and tasks, right? So you're going to have the ability to use built-in smart plans. You're also going to have the ability to build out unlimited amounts of customized smart plans on your own. So these plans are for people, for your deals, transactions, for your opportunities, for your referrals, for your listings. They can do your social media posts for you. They can build flyers for you. So you're going to be able to launch a marketing campaign or a new listing or smart plan. I'm always calling everything a campaign, you know. The idea is to trim and give you back your time so you can do what you do best. So you're going to be able to enter a new contact, and then you're going to be able to set like an if this then that kind of formula that says basically if I add a new contact, right, and they are a potential buyer or they whatever, you'll have all these little options on what you want them to do, then launch this smart plan, right? You can also do if this buyer goes into escrow, then wait 3 days and then send this campaign. So those of you that have like followed me doing Infusionsoft and those types of things, I've been using if this then that for a long time. And what Josh said is they started getting too complex with the if this then that, so they rolled it back and took a bunch of that. My guys call it dinosaur DNA, and they took that out, and now they're making super easy drag and drop kind of these blocks that say, okay, I want this to happen when this and this happen, and I saw the dashboard, and it looks like a much easier dashboard than something that's as complex as some of those if this then that platforms. Now I do want to let you know, my plan is I'm working with my brothers over at Ballen Brands. They are already all over it. They are going to be your service department if you're interested in hiring help to build out your stuff for you. So those of you that aren't going to do it or aren't going to hire an admin, we're going to have help for you at Ballen Brands. So you can already call them and start talking to them about it. So they're getting in there, and right now they're helping with things like integrating your Zaps or your PieSync so that your database sync up. Things like that. They can manage your pay-per-click in there. Okay, now, So the suggestion was that right now you start, I'm not done, but right now the suggestions are, first thing, start putting your contacts in your database. The database scoring system is live, and it will now start scoring you on your interactions, on your phone numbers. At the end today, I wish Josh had given it to us slower, and I'm going to go in and see if I can find how to where those slides are. They might even be in our dashboard. He showed the insights that Command's already reporting based on the data that's already been given. So it's incredible. Like, it knows right now that buyers and sellers are closing at the same ratio, 50% to 50%. It knows the average lead conversion of every source that's being put in there. I mean, the insights are drool worthy for somebody like me. I mean, we're going to be able to do so much with these insights. So the quicker we all start using the system, the better it's going to be for all of us because of what it's going to give back to us. Okay. All right. So Sketch House, if I understood this correctly, it's now called Designs. Everybody was calling it Designs. So I don't know if they did away with the name Sketch House, and now it's called Designs. I believe that's what they were saying. So Designs is world-class marketing tailored to your brand. It's integrated with KWLS, so you can just go in, pick a listing, and go. And like Nick Baldwin was talking about making a trifold or a bifold, I don't know which one he said, brochure of a listing, and it took 2 minutes because of the auto-population from KWLS. So of course we have to make sure that it's good in KWLS, and we can optimize it there. Because then it's going to populate. We're going to be running our Facebook ads. We're going to be running Google ads. We're going to be creating flyers and postcards, Facebook posts, and all of that. Right now, there are 700 designs for every business need, from open house to home anniversary. Josh said there will be 1,000, but right now there's 700. Neighborhood data showed up as of last night. So I haven't used it yet. I don't know what it looks like, but apparently neighborhood data is now part of Designs. Yeah, so Designs is what we're calling it, right? Okay. All right, so there's one part. Okay, this was one of my favorite takeaways. So for Command, and then I'll move on to some general real estate stuff. As a marketer, this jumped out at me like the biggest thing I heard there. And then I'll talk about IDX websites too in a second. Okay, so here's the concept. Because of this hyper-local neighborhood data, we're going to be able to we go into Designs, and we create an offer, an image. Let's just say you want to do an Instagram story, or there's going to be all kinds of options. You want to create a pin. You want to create an image for Facebook. I love Chase Sloan. She was one of my favorites today. On a panel, she said, she was talking about how imagery is so important. And I forget this myself sometimes, all the time. I'm so busy creating Facebooks. I'm a blogger, so I'm always writing, long form text. And she says, we went away from long form to tweets, and then from short 140 character tweets to images. And she's saying the more you can communicate in an image, the more likely you are to reach a particular audience. And I think she's 100% right. And I forget about that myself sometimes. Totally different. But anyway, so on that note of images, so we're going to be able to go in and create something like 3 things you didn't know about a certain neighborhood. So I live in Summerlin in Las Vegas. 3 things you didn't know about Summerlin. Okay, so now I make an image for that in Designs. Now, I can schedule it to automatically post on Facebook or on my social channels. I guess all of your Facebook profiles can go in there, a whole bunch of them, and you can schedule out your posts. I can run a Facebook ad or a Google ad, or I think LinkedIn's in there or coming. And then we can do the lead capture from our landing page that has the offer. And then we're going to be able to cultivate that lead right there, immediately launching smart plans, and then convert the lead once they become a transaction with all of from everything from your DocuSign to your everything right in there. So this registered to me as, okay, now I have an actionable. Now I have a real life example of how I'm going to be able to lead generate and take something from the top all the way to close. So my homework when I get home, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to go in and create this exact thing. 3 things you didn't know about Summerlin, or 9 things you didn't know about Desert Shores, or whatever. And I'm going to run this through the whole process, and I'll make you guys tutorial videos, and we'll test and measure. How did it work? What happened with it? You know, we can share best strategies, that kind of thing. Now, on the note of IDX website, so I was expecting a big thing about IDX websites, and there wasn't one. I did see the Inman article. I haven't read it. I saw the Inman headline, and I saw all over Ben Kinney's wall that they I don't understand it, but it said they are the exclusive IDX website provider and pay-per-click, pay-per-lead generator in the KW marketplace. So Ben, you got your team. If anybody's watching, you're welcome to let us know what that means exactly, because I'm not sure. I believe it means they're being offered up in the marketplace as an integration. What I don't understand is what the exclusive part means, because what they said from the stage today is you can use Market Leader, you can use Playster, you can use Brivity, you can use Boomtown. Of course, you'll be able to use our websites at Ballen Brands, your brew. I don't know how exactly those integrations are going to take place, and I don't know what exclusive means. But from what I saw today, the IDX is just part of Command that they have built in, and what it looks like to me is that it's super hyper local, and it's geared towards providing that hyper local information. They were talking about that it'll be great for SEO. I don't know how that is, because if 100 of us Keller Williams agents in Vegas are all marketing Summerlin and it's pulling the same data, I don't know how that would be unique data and help rank on the search engines. So until I touch it and play with it, I won't be able to tell you. In my head, I think we still need a third party lead generation if you're working like I work. If you're a big time blogger and doing all that, I still think we need that piece until they show me something different. But I think lead capture wise, we can capture it there and then have it all funnel in and get the consumer using our app and all the integrations. That's just my opinion. Again, I don't know what I don't know, so I'll bring you what I do as I know it. So no real big news on that, except for the fact that a lot of this stuff is now functioning. October 1st is when those IDX websites will be live, and we'll be able to drive it and get a lot more information. September 15th is when, I believe that's the date he said, September 15th. Apparently we're going to turn on our log into Command, and all of our data will be live, our transactional data. So DocuSign and everything will be live. Our transactional data will be in there. And we're going to have to be using this system because it's replacing green sheets and all that. So it's time. It's time now to start thinking about this. Not just thinking about it. It's time to start using the system, because it's going to be your entire transactional process is going to be done on Command. So we definitely want to get in there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Marie's kind of agreeing with me about the IDX website relationship. So there's not there's nobody that's building inside Command as the IDX provider inside. That's just all part of Command from what I'm seeing. But Marketplace is going to give us the options. And Gary and Josh drilled it home. We want you to have options. Do we want you to use .loop? No. But we want to give you options. And honestly, my favorite thing about Command, and pretty much the only reason I'm even considering using it instead of my own stuff that I've built, at least in pieces, it doesn't replace some of that other stuff yet, but it might. But the reason I'm really diving in there and jumping on it is because they are giving us choices. We do have the options. They were talking about how Designs is replacing Canva. Now, I was in there last week, and I'm not ready to end my Canva subscription just yet. But I would love Canva to be an option in case it had things that I wanted that Designs doesn't. I would like Constant Contact to be integrated as an email provider so that I have the option. And what they were telling us is we want you to have that option. We don't want you to be locked into only one choice. We get that you guys want your own stuff. So I personally just loved that. Some of my real estate takeaways, and again, please, if you have not registered to download my notes yet, use the link in this video and get your notes. I'm going to send them out. I have not sent them out. A bunch of you guys messaged me this morning and said, Lori, where's your notes? I thought I was getting them. And I'm sending them out once I'm done. The big room sessions are done now. We have breakout sessions this afternoon. It's a new format. I'm going to 2 command breakouts so that I can share with you guys and just see if what's being said. And then tomorrow we have a couple breakouts as well. So after that, I will get you guys all the notes sent out. So I'll just share a couple of my favorite panels and takeaways. And then there's so many in my notes. Like I said, you guys can definitely go through and take a look at all of that. So this was an interesting thing, and you guys can take this for what it's worth, but Gary gave us the Millionaire Combination. The Millionaire Combination. And the short form of that is if you take 7 appointments a week, that's how many appointments you need to get to being a millionaire agent. Now, some people have higher price ranges. They did throw out an average price range that this was based on, as far as I remember, and I didn't catch it. So obviously it's not a scientific thing for everybody, but they took all the averages. Remember, these are the guys that wrote MREA under the same models. So they went out and polled again, and they did all this research and figured out that you need 7 appointments per week. So the Millionaire Combination it's 1, don't write this down, get my notes, 1, 350, 175, 233, 311, 267 with a bunch of dashes in between. What it stands for is 7 appointments per week. I'll go bottom up. 7 appointments per week, 26 appointments per month, 311 listing appointments, 230 listings taken, this is per year, 175 listings sold, so that's how they based it on their average conversion rates, to get to 350 closings to get to 1 million net, which means that's what you're bringing in. That's what you're keeping at the end of the day. So I thought that was pretty cool. Those who don't know, I'm a high DI personality. I'm actually not like an analytical like everybody thinks I am. But man, I love numbers that will give me a path. If you do this, this is likely to happen. This is what the averages say. So I loved that. I thought that was a great takeaway. You can get that. I like that they said too many people settle when Gary kept talking about not settling. When they wake up in the morning, instead of trying to live the best life possible, they don't have a plan on how to do that. We teach people to think big and aim high and to have an action plan. And he added that. He said, yes, think big, aim high, and have an action plan. How are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? What is it you're going to do to get there? And he says, never settle for anything less. Then whatever you get will be magnificent. I loved that quote. I thought that was so great. So that's what he was giving you there. All right. So my favorite, I really liked Edie Waters. I don't know if I said that right. Edie Waters. Edie's been in real estate for 25 years, and she did $2.3 million in GCI last year, which was 413 closed units. I loved seeing new faces this year. There was a lot that we see every year. I enjoyed also seeing some new faces. And what I like about Edie and how this tied in so well with Command is that she has 22,000 people in her database. And Gary said, what one thing made you successful? And she said, my database. I never stopped doing my database. And what's funny is when people say to me, Lori, if you could go back to the beginning of your career in 2007, my real estate career, and do anything over again, what would you do? And I said, you know what? I would change my first hire. My first hire was an admin, but I would change that hire to be a database manager. And she or he would do nothing, or they, she, he, or they, would do nothing but build that database. I also like that, I don't know if it was Edie that said it or somebody else said it. Maybe it was, I can't remember. They said, don't have your ISAs call your top people. Don't have your ISAs call your family. Don't. And what's interesting about this is when I hired my first ISA, and I didn't end up keeping an ISA. I had one for a couple of years. It didn't change my numbers. He was great. I don't know. It just where I was going, I don't think it made a lot of sense, and it seemed to cost me more. And now I know why, kind of listening to these panels, but that's a whole other story. He called my grandmother. He was going through our database, and he called my grandmother. She's like, well, hello. It was funny because she was actually tickled pink, but then she was like, tell my granddaughter to call me. I'm like, oh my gosh. My ISA called my grandma. So they were saying don't have them do that. You should still touch your favorite people that you're closest to. So I thought that was a pretty cute takeaway. She also said 57.3% of her business is abandoned customers. So when somebody, like they're the listing agent and somebody buys the house, they add that person to their database or they're touching them somehow. I didn't get all the details of how. That's the one thing about Megacamp, right? We just get a touch of it. I'm like, I want a class with that person. 57.3% is past and abandoned customers. Again, database. She's just killing it on her database. They do a newsletter. One of my favorite touches that she talked about, and that's her favorite too, and I swear I'm going to do something like this for my agent database, because I cultivate real estate agents as much as I do buyers and sellers for agent referrals to Las Vegas, right? Is it backwards on my phone? On the phone, I think it is. She does, for Valentine's Day, they do a mason jar with a Valentine's cookie recipe and all of the ingredients in the mason jar. You guys have probably seen those for like Christmas, gingerbread cookies and stuff. So they do it for Valentine's Day, and she said it's really cool because what they'll do is they go to the home, and if the person's not home, they leave it on their doorstep. But this is what got me. This is how I know she's a marketing genius, because they take a picture of the mason jar and send it to her and say, Happy Valentine's Day, we just left this for you, enjoy. And then that person will go post it on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram or Snapchat or wherever they are. And, oh my gosh, look at my realtor just dropped off for me. I thought that was genius. Okay, so that was her. Now, another standout favorite of mine, I really liked Rob's. I liked Rob Chavez from the Casa Group in Reston, Virginia. 3.1 million GCI, 275 units last year for a volume of 118 million. He says, I use the power of video and social media to geo-target and become the mayor of my town. And they don't mean literal mayor, although some do. Gary Vaynerchuk said this once at a convention, and I think a lot of people picked it up, and somebody said, hey Gary, what if you were a real estate agent, what would you do? And he said, I'd become the mayor of the town. And he, with air quotes, he meant I would be the source. I would be all things about that town. And I think that's what a lot of it, I heard that from the stage a few times. So Rob has 7 teams in the Reston market. And what he does is community videos, really, really big on neighborhoods, community videos. Again, back to the hyper-local stuff, right? Which is, it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And another thing that I really like that he does, and it's funny because it's on the same wavelength as some things I've been considering doing. He had a 13,000 member investment group. Oh, that massive. And it worked for him so well that he decided to do what he was doing with those investment groups. He was holding all of these networking groups and seminars, and he decided to do that at the neighborhood level. And so he started doing neighborhood events, and then he started educating. So he says, I'm more of a teacher than a salesperson. So I started teaching buyers how to be buyers, and sellers how to be sellers, and investors how to be investors, and home flippers how to be flippers, and all of that kind of thing. And I thought, you know what? It's so genius, because those are the things that any one of us could do that we just don't, right? Buyer workshops, seller workshops. I messaged him a little while ago and asked him if he's ever done webinars, because my brain, I'm thinking, if you could get an evergreen webinar, hold it, get all your buyers that register to be leads from your Facebook ads, from your whatever. And we mass blast them and we say, hey, we're having a home buyer workshop right from your home in your pajamas. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about buying a home in Las Vegas. Or we're going to give you 11 ways you can save $10,000 on carpeting when you buy your house. I don't know, whatever. And you have a home, you could have all kinds of different types of themes, right? How the top low down payment programs, or how to improve your credit score, or how to stage your home to get more money, or how to, that kind of stuff. And then you can have these be evergreen webinars where somebody just logs on to your website, it pops up, join our next webinar, they register, what time do you want to be in, 11:15, 12:15, 1:15, you're not even there, they watch the webinar. That was like what was going through my head. So anyway, I loved that. I love the fact that he said, I don't sell, I teach, and I educate. And I thought that was incredibly smart. What's interesting, so I don't know where it is, Christy Smith. So I loved Christy Smith. Oh, okay, I thought I lost it. Christy Smith is from the Indie Homes team, 1.3 million in GCI last year with 113 units, 43 million in sales volume. So this is what I loved about Christy, and I hope you guys can watch it on video because I'll never do it justice to the way she delivered it. What I can tell you in short form is every time she goes to a listing, she suggests what the home needs to sell for more money. And she even brought up like a $247,000 house. So this isn't just like a luxury thing. And she then offers to supervise the entire thing, because what she said was, and I love this, and this is what we need, trainers, if you're a KW Command trainer, this is what we need to hear for our training. She said, you have to take away the overwhelm. Oh, pause on that for a second. You have to take away the overwhelm. How many times have we not made a decision, or we've said no because we're in overwhelm? Even though everything sounds great, we've just been dumped all this information on us and we say, I'm in overwhelm. She said, you have to take away the overwhelm. So she manages the entire process. So and she said the basics are like new paint. She says new flooring will never get you more money on the house. She said something about cover up the stain for a little while. I forget. It was so cute. But anyway, paint. She said the jewelry, like the fixings, the faucets, those types of things. So she goes to like Amazon and she buys wholesale drawer pulls and cabinet pulls and faucets and things like that, so that she can get everything for cheaper. And so she has ways to help with that. She has like one painter that almost exclusively works for her. And then she does something even beyond that. And that's at no cost. She does that as a concierge service. I mean, you want to beat Zillow? Think like Christy Smith. That was an amazing, that is what we need to be doing, right? I mean, look at the service she's providing to her sellers. Why would you not want that if you're a seller? And she also, if there's certain ones that don't have the money, she actually has a program where she will fund it. I'm not going to get into the details. You can contact her. She's in Indiana. But she, Indie Homes team, she does something like they take a second out on the home. It's a guaranteed listing, so they have to sell through her, and she gets paid at the closing. So she's definitely protected herself in the right ways, and it's a benefit to the seller. So this is a way for the seller to not have to come out of pocket, but yet she does it in a way that she's guaranteed to get paid. So it's done very geniusly. You got to check that out. Again, I took great notes, so if you get my notes, you're going to see her stuff on there. I will, any of these agents that I feature, I'll put their contact info in there, their links and things like that. Day one, I posted on Facebook and everybody went crazy over this guy. And I had never heard of him before. His name is John Brooks. Where are you, John? Okay. John Brooks, the Brooks Group, did 1 million in GCI, 143 units. 36.4 million in sales volume. So these are all megas. And let me tell you something else. Gary Keller said nobody is getting on his stage at Megacamp without a P&L statement. And everybody that was on the stage had to submit profit and loss before they got on the stage, because he said, basically, I'm not going to parade a bunch of broke agents up here. We're gonna make sure that they're profitable. So I thought that was valuable myself. And a lot of them just busted out and told us what their profit margin was. Some were way up here, and I also really respected the guys that said it's 26%, because I operated at about that level when I was doing my 7th level team. Now I'm way higher, only because it's a totally different model, and that's a long story. But 26% is what I was running at maybe 28 at the highest point. And he did say that that was Brian Gubernick, and Brian said he does believe he'll get 6% more. I hope I'm quoting him correctly. 26. He believes he'll get 6% more profit once he starts using command. But these are like big, they are expansion groups and all that, expansion teams, all that kind of stuff. My stomach's growling. Okay. All right. So here's John Brooks. I'm gonna leave you with this last one, okay? And then again, if you want my notes, link in the video. I'll make sure it's there as soon as we get off, if it's not there now, so you can download my notes. So John was my number one favorite, and it was because he said several things that I have not heard. We hear a lot about people, leverage, teams, building, hiring, recruiting. And I'm going to be really honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I changed my model, because I was burned out on that. And I did not enjoy going to the office every day and recruiting and hiring and training. And I love training. But I didn't want that to be my life. I just personally didn't. But there's some people that are really motivated to do that. What John did is kind of gave an in-between or other options, and someday I'll share my model with you, and that's also other options. But John says, we set goals around okay, he's talking about him and his wife. He says, we set goals around net worth, not income. We set goals around net worth, not net income. Do you understand the magnitude of what that statement means? Changes everything. How many of us, you might know that you make $60,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year. You may or may not know how much that you actually keep before or after taxes. I hear people all the time, oh yeah, I make 200 grand. Well, how much you keeping? They're not sure, right? But they based on net worth. So investing, properties, stocks and investments. I love that. They live on 12 to 15% of their net income, which is big, by the way, but it wasn't always. It's big now, but it wasn't always. So they are 70% profitable on $1 million business. So you do the math. That's some good money there. So yeah, I could probably live on 12 to 15% of $700,000, right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could. I don't know. Now that I'm doing the math on what that means. Okay. Anyway, so this is what he said that I really loved. He has no offices, so it's all virtual, which is the same thing I did. And I think we're going to see this more and more and more. No physical, so he has no occupancy rates. He's not paying for phones and for, all the stuff that you have in your offices. He doesn't have any office space. It's funny, I said phones. Now we're all on cell phones. I'm looking at the hotel phone as it's sitting here in my room. So he said, we do not have a full-time admin. We have a VA. One of the things I did like that Ben Kinney announced this morning, and again, I have not had a chance to read the article. He is rolling out VAs that are Brivity trained. So he went and trained VAs on how to run his system, and now you can get VAs through his system, which perfect. That's exactly the way to do it. So you can save money on your not having admins by using VAs. Okay. Now VA stands for virtual assistant. My virtual assistant have always been in the Philippines. I've always used my Outdesk for my virtual assistants. And I think, when we started years and years ago, it was like $6 an hour. And I think now it's like I don't know, $8, $9, $10 an hour. I'd have to go look, but it's still significantly cheaper. We don't have to pay any taxes on that virtual assistant, any health insurances, because they're technically employed by the company in the Philippines, by My Outdesk. They're technically, we are subcontracting My Outdesk. That person is fulfilling the task, but they don't technically work for us. We always say like my VA, but technically we're working with the company itself. We don't employ that person, so we don't have to pay taxes and insurances and that kind of thing. So I love that he does that. Also, he says, instead of, and this I love, if you know anything about me and my model, you'll know why, but I love this. He says, instead of hiring instead of hiring buyer's agents, we take the agents that are in our office that need the cash flow, that aren't as busy, and we pay them $25 per door to go out as a showing agent. So John gets a new buyer, a new person. They want to go on a home tour. This person in the office goes and drives them around, takes them to 4 houses. They get paid per door. That's the way I understood it. $25 per door, 4 doors, $100. Genius! Come on, I mean, win-win. Wouldn't the new agents or agents in our office that don't have a lot of money are going to love that? And he now doesn't have to be out in the field all the time. So he can work with, obviously you need to have the right respect and relationship there, because they're not exclusively on your team and you've got those kind of things. Anyway, so at the end of that, Gary was so excited that he actually hugged him and he said, best practice is intentional, not accidental. Best practice is intentional, not accidental. I love that. All right, so bunch more of these that I got. Those are some of my standouts that I wanted to be sure and mention. There were a lot more individual agents this year than there were full panels. Today we had a lot of panels for the technology, but it was more of just people sharing what they like that's going to be coming in command. So not a lot of real deal actual application with that stuff just yet. So anyway, I'm going to grab a bite to eat and I'm going to head over to the next 2 command classes. And if you want my notes, click the link. I'll make sure to get those for you in the next day or so. What day is it? Let's just say once I get home, I'll probably chill for a day and then get them to you. But I've done a pretty good job already keeping them, so it might be real simple for me to throw them in a PDF and just send it to you from the plane or something. We'll see. So no promises on the exact time, but I will get these out to you as long as you subscribe. All right. So keep me in mind, Las Vegas, Lori Ballen, for your referrals. We also serve Henderson and North Las Vegas, and Ballen Brands if you need some help with your marketing. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.